All right, let's do this example here. So this is an example of a hyperbola. So now it may look different, right? So it doesn't exactly look like what we're, like the cookie cutter, right? But let's kind of like analyze this, look at it, and see what we notice, right? So we've got the negative sign over here, okay? So it's not in the right order that we normally see it because we see a plus here. But remember, this is negative. So this one has the negative exponent, okay? So this here would be telling us that this is going to be traversing the horizontal because it's on the x, right? So x. So let's rewrite this so that it looks more like the standard form, okay? So I'm going to write this over 1 too because this isn't normally the way. So there's a 1 underneath here. So let's make it look a little better. Well, not better, but so it's easier to see. Okay, so I'm going to put this over 1 and then minus x minus 2 squared over 9. Okay, so now we can see, oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke up here. I was looking at the negative sign. Now this here is y, so this is telling us, because the negative sign is over here, this is telling us that this is going to traverse vertically, right? So I even made a mistake here, focusing on the negative sign here and the x. So in this case here, writing it this way, now you can see that, okay, well this is first, this has the positive coefficient. Like I said, this has a negative coefficient, but now that we put it in the right order, it's easier to say, okay, well this is going to traverse going what? Vertically, not horizontal, okay? Because the y is here, the x is after the subtraction. So now, what does this tell us? Well, a squared is 1, so we know a squared is equal to 1, b squared is equal to 9, and that tells us a is equal to 1, and b is equal to 3, right? Okay, good. Now, what about the center? Let me just see what they want us to do here. I don't think they want us to graph it, or maybe they do. Hold on. So now the center. Now, again, we have to look at the h and k. So what is h and what is k here? Okay. Now, again, be careful of the plus sign. So instead of looking at that and say plus 3, it might be better to look at that and say that that's a minus a negative 3. Okay. So yes, they want us to graph it. Okay. So where's the center? So here, the center is going to be what? HK. So H is 2. K is negative 3. So here's the center. Okay. Now, B is 3, which is telling us where what? Where the box is, right? So if this is going, let me see if I can draw this. Okay, so the center of the hyperbola is at 2, negative 3. So that's going to be right here. And then B is telling us where the box is. Now, since this is vertical, since this is going vertical, we know that the foci are going to be along the vertical. So A is 1. So that means the vertices are going to be located here and here, right? So the vertices are going to be at so it's 1 away from the center, right? So if we're 1 away from the center, and the center is at 2, -3, and it's going vertical, then we're going to go up 1 and down 1. So that means one vertex is going to be at 2, -2, and the other vertex is going to be at 2, -4. Okay. Now the other thing is, let's draw the box so we can get our asymptotes, right? So B is 3, which means we're going to go 3 out from the center. Okay. So we're going to go from 2 to 5. And we're going to go from 2 to -1. Okay, and so if we draw the box, like so. Now remember, the asymptotes are going to go through the diagonals, right? But let's draw, so we can see that if we want to sketch the graph, right, we could just go this way. Right? And then we can draw that way. And we know that from the vertex it's going to go, oops, it's going to go towards a curve, right? It's going to go get towards it's a little, we're getting closer and closer to the asymptote. And this one would go like that and that. Right, so we got the curve on the bottom and we got the curve on the top, right? And so if we want to sketch the graph of a hyperbola, that would be good right there. So we've got the vertices, we've got the asymptotes, and now we just draw the sketch of our graph, okay? Now, what if we want to know where the foci are located? Now remember, we don't graph the foci. But what if they ask you, like in this problem here, they ask you for the center, the vertices, the foci. So what are the foci? The foci are going to be based on what? C. Well, we need to figure out what C is. Well, C, again, remember the formula, C squared equals A squared plus B squared, right? And where do we get that? We get that from the fact that what? B squared is equal to C squared minus A squared, right? So that's where that comes from. So remember this formula and you can get this one. Now, all I'm going to do is plug in A squared and B squared. So A squared is 1, B squared is 9. And so C squared equals 10, and so C is equal to plus or minus square root of 10. Okay, or just use the plus, right? Positive. Okay. Now, the foci are going to be located where? Well, the foci, again, are located on the vertical, right? Right? And it's on the vertical symmetry. It's a vertical symmetry that goes through the center and the vertices. Okay? So now, so that means the foci are going to be on the same vertical, right? Which means it's going to have the same x value. And then it's going to be what? It's going to be, in this case here, it's going to be what? The y value, which is -3, right? So it'll be 3 plus the square root of 10. And then the other focus is going to be 2 comma 3 minus the square root of 10. Oh, hold on a second. Did I do that right? Hold on. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so that gives you that. Now the asymptotes, right? So if we want to do the asymptotes, we just plug it in. Let me just make sure. Oh, hold on. Sorry. This should be negative, right? -3. That's -3. My point's in the way, but it's -3. Okay? So the foci are -3 plus the square root of 10, -3 minus the square root of 10. Okay? Now, again, graphing it, all you need to know is where the vertices are, and you need to know B so you can draw the reference rectangle, and then you just, and the asymptotes, right? So you sketch the asymptotes and then you graph it. Now, again, the problem is asking us for more. So there's part B. So we got the center, we got the vertices, we found the foci. Okay. Now what about the asymptotes? They want the equations for the asymptotes. Okay. Now, since this is going vertical, remember it's going to be y minus k is equal to plus or minus a over b times x minus h. Okay? Now, the thing is we know what h and k are, right? And we know what a and b are. So now all we have to do is plug it in, right? And simplify. So this would be y minus -3, which would be plus 3. Okay, equals plus or minus, now a is equal to 1. Yes, a is equal to 1. And b is 3. And then it's going to be x minus h, which is 2. Now, all we have to do is simplify this. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, right? And that gives me y is equal to plus or minus 1/3 times x minus 2 minus 3. Okay? Now I'm going to do the plus here for a moment. We'll do the plus 1 and then we'll do the minus 1. Okay? So if we do plus, this is going to give us 1/3 x minus 2/3 minus 3. Okay? And 3 is 9/3, right? So if we combine this, we get y equals 1/3 x minus what? Well, this is going to be 9/3 and this is 2/3, so that gives us minus 11/3. Okay, and so that's the equation of one of the asymptotes. Okay, now if I go back and I do the negative one, right? So now I do negative 1/3. So let's find the equation of the other asymptote. So now I'm going to, again, distribute. So it's going to give me negative 1/3 x plus 2/3 minus 3. So now this becomes 9/3, but now it's going to be negative, it's going to be minus 9/3 and a plus 2/3. So that's going to give me minus 7/3. So this is going to give me y equals negative 1/3 x minus 7/3. Okay? And that's it. All right, so we'll come back and we'll do another one.